Hello everybody and welcome to That's Football. Arsenal get off to a winning start with a 2-1 win against Nottingham Forest at the Emirates. And I suppose, look, at the end of the day and at the end of the game, it all comes down to what the result is. It's 3 points for Arsenal, opening game of the season. You don't want to be dropping points. And I've got to be honest, I think this is where I go back to the tweet I put out a couple of days ago where I said, anybody who's not putting Arsenal in the top four this season either doesn't know football or is being bitter. I get the bitterness. I don't like Arsenal. I don't want them to finish in the top four. But if you're not putting them in the top four, there's no logical football reason for it. And I think today showed you that. They're 2-0 up and they're the victims of their own downfall, really. They're 2-0 up at half time. They're comfortable. And in the second half, they took their foot off the pedal a little bit. Forest get a really good breakaway goal and then they've got to work. But they switched on. Arteta was like, Gabriel's going to go on. We're not going to get caught on the break again. We're going to defend well and we're going to get the points. And they were resilient. And in no way did I think in the last, Forest scored with 10 minutes to go. Then you got added time. So the best part of 15 minutes did I ever think Forest were going to equalise, because Arsenal instantly stopped attacking and stopped the ability of Forest to counter, which is what they scored from, and basically said, if you're going to score the second goal, play through us. And they couldn't do that. So you can look at it and go, look, Arsenal should be winning games like that 3 or 4-0, and they should do. They should have done from half time. But the reality is they've conceded a goal and resilience has got them 3 points. So, yeah, Arsenal weren't incredible, but they got the job done. I think the big thing for me is the Havertz thing is going to run and run until it doesn't. And what I mean by that is I felt that Arsenal looked like they were playing with 10 men for a lot of that game because Havertz just doesn't work. I'm not saying he's not going to work. It was never going to work straight away. It was a player that looked absolutely out of his depth last season at Chelsea, and still looks out of his depth in a Premier League football team. It's going to take time for Arteta. I think he will get it right in the end, because I think that's the sort of coach that Arteta is. I think he's a developmental coach. But today, I thought Declan Rice was incredible. I'll talk about him in a minute. And I thought Saka played well. Odegaard was good without being his normal best. I think his radar was off a bit, which you can expect in the first game of the season. Obviously, Nketiah scored a good goal. I don't really think he's good enough for a team that's going to fight for the title, but he did his job today, and Martinelli was good. But Havertz was just drifting in and out of the game. He seems to want to take an extra touch all the time. That's a project signing that's going to take time. And I think, look, if you go away from home and you play United or Liverpool or Brighton, and you want to play a midfield three of Havertz, Rice and Odegaard, I think you're going to get beat. That midfield three needs to have more in it. Odegaard's the creative attacking talent, and you need someone with a bit more bite next to Rice. So, yeah, I thought maybe you take Havertz out of that team today, you put Partey in the midfield, maybe that game's won a lot quicker and a lot more comfortably. But I can see what Arteta's trying to do at home. You play a little bit more attacking. It was very clever in the first half with Partey at right back, but basically joining the midfield because Forest did park the bus. And Arsenal could have made it more comfortable, of course they could. But the Havertz thing is a work in progress, and I think everyone has to accept that. And today, he was pretty average, wasn't he? I think they were carrying him at times. And he does take an extra touch all the time. He's too slow on the ball. What he's going to do is so predictable, I think. Whereas Declan Rice, their other new signing, I thought he was fantastic. He could have had a goal. Had 2 good opportunities that weren't easy, but made the keeper make a save. But he's the main crux of Declan Rice's game is what he does so well. Is he always wants the ball. He's always very vocal. Makes those tackles, feeds the players ahead of him. And I think he will grow into being a fantastic player for Arsenal. But that was a very good first competitive home debut for him. And I think he will settle in really well. The price is a lot of money, but the player is the right choice for Arsenal. And I thought he played well. And Nketiah took his goal well. Saka, I think, got man of the match, according to most people. And the second goal was fantastic. Still very Saka reliant, that team, though. But I'm not going to judge Arsenal on their first game. I think that their resilience got them that game. They didn't look as fluid as they did last season, because I still don't think that it's only the first game of the season. I still think they've got a lot of things that are different. The Timber injury was a bit of a blow. I would question why he came out for the second half, because he's obviously gone down and tweaked again, whatever the problem is. Hopefully that won't be too long. And defensively, they look quite strong. I mean, the goal they conceded was a breakaway. Ben White should probably see the runner a bit better, but it's tired legs against a really quick pair of fresh legs, and Alanga just hit the nitro and boosted down that left-hand side, put a good cross in. And as I said, Ben White's misread the run of the striker for a tap-in. It was a good breakaway goal from Forest, who did very little, really. So big 3 points for Arsenal. Not scintillating, but effective. And I think Arsenal fans will take that. You know, you win 5 or 6-0 and everyone's saying we're going to win the league. You win 2-1, it's still 3 points, and everyone goes, we're not going to get too carried away, but it's a good 3 points. And in some ways, I think that's not a bad way to start the season for them. They're going to be there or thereabouts. We're not going to learn a lot from the opening game of the season, but very important to get 3 points. And I think the resilience of Arsenal is what you take from that, because if you look at Arsenal a few years ago, that 2-0 probably turns into 2-2, and it's despair and grabbing the mic and, you know, Arteta out and all that crap. And those days seem to have gone from Arsenal. There's a unity in the team, behind the manager and in the fan base, and I think they will be there or thereabouts this season. And I thought that they you know, played well in parts, but it's almost like they're going to need to get that rhythm going, of course. As for Forest, I think a lot of people were relegating them at half-time, and I think by the end of the game, a lot of people will be now saying, interesting. It's going to be home form for them. You play 19 games at home. There's 57 points. If you can get 30 points at home and a couple of away wins, you'll be safe. So I think Forest know what they need to do at the City ground. They've got to be resilient, and they've got to be winning those games. They know today is, you know, if they get a win here today, it's an opening day shock. Realistically, they come out with it a 2-1 loss. That's not a bad result for them. They probably would have took that. Take some positives from it. The Alanga cameo was good. And I think their next game is Sheffield United at home. Win that, then it's Old Trafford, probably lose that. Next game's at home, win that. 6 points from the first 12 would be brilliant for them, and I think that's what their season's going to be about. There's a very clear distinctive line in this Premier League. There are teams at the top that are way better than the teams at the bottom. The teams at the top have to win those games. The teams at the bottom know they're probably not going to win those games, and their season will be dictated to by the other games. Anyway, get your comments in below. What do you think about Arsenal today? What do you think about the season ahead? What do you think about Forest? Do you think they're going to go down? Get your comments in below. Smash a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe, and I, of course, will speak to you soon. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, I'm on TalkSport tonight, 7:30 till 9 o'clock. Get your calls in. We're live on YouTube as well.